Hi, welcome to the channel. I'm going to be covering things related to PC gaming on a budget, so if that sounds like your jam, consider subscribing. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of broke, so for me it's very important to keep my gaming budget to a minimum. I'm going to be talking about how you can spend a minimal amount on your actual PC, and also cover how you can get free and cheap games, and how to track prices on games to always make sure you're getting the best deal. So let's start first with what computer I actually need. So you might think that if you're going to be gaming, you need to get a fancy gaming computer with a dedicated graphics card, lots of RAM, etc. But you actually really don't, especially if you're going to be playing more budget-friendly games. If you're playing cheaper games, indie games, you really don't need a very high-end computer to run them. So I'm personally gaming on a Samsung Galaxy Book 2. That admittedly is not super cheap, but it's a computer I have anyway. So that's the thing, is that the computer you have anyway might be fine for gaming. I have an i7 with 16 gigs of RAM, and that has been pretty good for me. I've only run into 3 or 4 games so far that I couldn't run, and a lot of classic games actually run great on it, especially again if you're keeping it within that lower budget. You can look around either the computer you have around that's just decently stacked with internal graphics, or you can pick up a pretty reasonably priced PC and you will be able to game on that. And now without further ado, let's get into how to get free or cheap games. Our first option is Epic Games. So Epic Games gives away free games every week. There's no catch, just free games every week. So most of them are smaller games, indie games, but occasionally you'll get decently big name games if you keep an eye on it, especially around holiday times. So it's definitely worth checking them every week to see what they're giving away. Also, you're going to want to have them for one of our later topics, Prime Gaming. Next up, we have GOG, or GOG, depending on how old you are. GOG has a couple ways to get free games. They firstly do also do free game giveaways, but it's not on a regular basis. It's usually older games, but every once in a while there's something interesting. Also, if you get subscribed to their newsletter, they firstly will notify you when there are giveaways so you don't miss them. And also, they often have exclusive newsletter savings for different games. This will happen randomly, but if you keep an eye on it, this will almost always be the lowest price you can get the game on anywhere by a couple bucks. So if you see a game that you like and it comes up on there, it's almost always going to be the cheapest price. And also some Prime games, as we're going to discuss, will also be redeemed through GOG, so it's important to get it for that too. Now with our last two options of getting actually free games are through Steam. So Steam does very rarely give away actually free games. It's pretty uncommon, it can be a little hard to track. When we talk about SteamDB in a minute, I'll explain more about how to do so. But the other big way you can get free games through Steam is with Steam Family Sharing. This is a great option if you have friends or family who have big Steam game libraries, especially if they don't use them often. This you can do by going into the settings in Steam and choosing Family Sharing on your computer. The family or friend will have to log into their account and authorize to do so on your computer. Once they do, the majority of their games will be available on your computer to play, as long as you are online and they are not playing any games in their library currently. This is a great option to get more free games. So that'll conclude most of our actual free games. But we'll get into some semi-free games, and where you can get cheap games and track cheap games. So Prime Gaming, while not technically free, is free if you already have Prime. So if you're a Prime subscriber, check this one out. It gives you free games every month. And while lately it has been a little weak, generally they do give decently big name games on occasion. And at the very least, they give a bunch of lower, lesser known titles that could sometimes be a good catch. So it's always definitely worth checking out what they're giving away for the month. Some Prime Gaming games will be redeemed through Epic, others through GOG. And then also a lot of, especially the smaller ones, will be redeemed through the Amazon Games app itself. So you can get that launcher too to get all those Amazon games. So that's it for the actually free games. But here's my methods for keeping up with pricing in order to get cheap games and make sure you're always getting the best deals on games. So first off is wishlisting. I personally wishlist on Steam, but all the major stores offer wishlisting. Wishlisting is a great way to keep track of when games go on sale. If you wishlist a game on Steam or any other platform, when the game goes on sale, you'll get an email and a notification in the launcher letting you know that the game is on sale. This way you don't miss any big sales. But how do you know if a game goes on sale very regularly, or if this is a one-time event that you gotta hop on? How do you know if this is the best sale price, or if it actually drops lower fairly frequently? So that's where tracking sites like SteamDB come in. SteamDB is a great website for keeping track of game pricing and seeing if you're actually getting the best deal. You can just go on the site, search a game, and you'll be able to easily see what the actual MSRP is, what the lowest price it's ever sold for, and you can track through the past couple years of what different prices it's gone for sale at what points. So you can see if it goes on sale very often, or if this is actually an infrequent thing that you need to get right away. You can see if this is actually the lowest sale price, or if it often goes on sale for lower. And this way you make sure you're always getting the best deal. You can also track the occasional actually free games on Steam using two methods. The first method is to go onto the free promotions tab, just straight from the Google search. The second option is to use the filters to lower the price of the game from $0 to $1 and a 95% discount, and that'll usually pull up any free games that get missed. And finally, we have a couple honorable mentions. First off, we have Xbox Game Pass. The Game Pass is often lauded as the best deal in gaming, and it can be with the right circumstances, but as a budget gamer, it often is not the right choice, depending on your lifestyle. So firstly, your lower end computer might not be able to run the lots of higher end AAA games that are on there, so that can depend on what computer you actually have. Also, depending on how much time you have for gaming, Game Pass can become a pretty bad deal pretty quickly. So I personally don't have a lot of time for gaming, I only play maybe a couple hours a week. At that point, the price for Game Pass you're paying per month quickly becomes not worth it, versus just buying a couple cheap games and playing them over a couple months. Another honorable mention could go to just generally free games. There's free-to-play games, which are free, but also tend to be kind of soul-sucking. And there's some random free games out there. The only notable one I can think of that comes to mind is Cave Story. Great game, by the way. Definitely play it. So if you dig around a little, you could find some free games, but there's not too many. And there you have it, folks. A bunch of ways to keep your budget down on gaming so you can enjoy your games without breaking the bank. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and feel free to return for more budget-related gaming videos. Have yourselves a good one.